around monitoring police behavior or conduct, especially where there are complaints, especially where there are murders, and any other related matters. So in summary, they are policing the police.
Thank you very much, Minister. So in your testimony, you then indicated that the IPID report on Phala was classified by the head of IPID. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Not by yourself. So based on your response on what the mandate of IPID is, can I then confirm that IPID would not be investigating the president? They are investigating police conduct.
That's correct.
Now, how does one get a report declassified, Minister, if somebody was looking for a report that IPID would have classified?
You will need to wait until IPID declassifies it. In other words, they review their decision and they come to that conclusion. When there was a question from Parliament on the classification, which was mistakenly assumed to be me who had done that, I actually took the question, went to IPID to say, did you classify? What were the reasons? I'm facing a question in Parliament, and they told me that it is them, independent of the minister, and some of the reasons they touted were other parallel investigations that were going on in relation to Phala, and therefore they then classified for that reason until they come to another conclusion, maybe at the conclusion of some criminal cases that were going on under another entity that time.
Thank you, Minister. So I would be correct then, based on what you said, if I was to advise Honorable Skhosana that if he is looking for information about an IPID report that does not investigate the president, despite his repeated assurances to that regard, he has to approach IPID for the classification of the report.
That's correct, Honorable.
Thank you. So I trust that will bring the matter to a close, Honorable Skhosana on Phala.
Chair, singabantu Chair, mele sibonge Chair. Siyabonga mamdikuzamile ukumdefend uMinister ongizophinda futhi. Sorry.
Honorable Shongwe, I agree, you know how much I love you and how much I respect you.
Don't take my 10
You know
minutes.
that. And I have assured you that there is at no time where we will deny you an opportunity to speak. So when you raise your hand, the chair will gladly recognize you. Like I do now, Honorable Sanguni has completed the part that she wanted to, and I saw that your hand was up. I now allow you to speak.
Thank you Chair. No Chair, kuyisinto ukuthi umuntu mayenza kahle sibonge. So umkhonto wesizwe Chair besicela ukubonga kumamkhusela ukuthi awuzamile ukumdefend uMinister. Kodwa sazombuza ke imibuzo ngoba iPhala leli miningi imizi egcekeziwe emalokishini awaclassifyanga ama-document walawo ama-docket walawo mizile egcekeziwe. Sisazoyixoxa ngoba ireporta kuyi-IPID. Siyabonga mamkhusela ne-ANC edefend uMinister. Inkosi ibusise. Amen.
Do you want to comment on the message of gratitude?
No, it's a pleasure, Honorable Chairperson. As the ANC, we will continue to seek to educate Konto Wesizwe, as they call us ngabantu bakwagogo. So we're happy to educate them on how these things work. Thank you, Chair.
I see the hand of Honorable Nomvalo is up.
Yeah, no, Chair. Can members of this committee be protected? And not, Chair, please don't allow their names to be wrongfully cited in a line of questioning. If we want to maintain the decorum of this meeting, I think it's important that we comply with the highest principles of discipline. and not allow members to just throw in names unnecessarily so and unprovoked of one of honorable members in this committee. I thought you are going to protect us against what
What
honorable,
what has been said, Honorable Nomvar?
and two, we don't need to be educated by the ANC. They don't qualify to educate us, and they will never qualify. We don't need to be educated. If anything, it's us who must educate them on how to run a country without being engulfed by corruption. They need to be protected, to be educated by us. This country is in turmoil because of them. So, Chair, please protect us, because if you allow them to degenerate, we are also going to degenerate. We can degenerate, but because we respect your stewardship as the Chair and we respect members of this committee, we choose not to degenerate. So can we not be drawn to such? Please.
I want to hear from you. What is the part that you want corrected?
No, he must not throw the name of Skosana in her line of questioning. It's unnecessary, Chair. To say to a witness, if I tell Skosana this, will I be correct? This is not about individuals.
Okay. So what you are saying is that instead of being specific, she could just have said honorable member.
No, Chair. As we ask questions here, people must not take notes of what we're asking and want to use our names unnecessarily so in their line of questioning. He can ask a question without mentioning Skosana and without being sarcastic, because she was sarcastic by saying, if I tell Skosana this, would I be correct? What is that?
Okay. Honorable Matthys.
Mine is just on clarity, Chair, so we don't want to leave the nation misunderstood about our terms of reference, as Honorable Member has said. On 3.5 and 3.6 of our terms of reference, it covers, if we want to bring in Phala Phala, we can bring in Phala Phala, because the broader scope of what we're doing, I've just lost these terms of reference, speaks to us investigating the broader corruption within the justice system. And if Phala Phala, Honorable Member, falls under that, we are allowed to bring that to the committee and for us to investigate that as well. And also in terms of us declassifying documents, it does not need the MKP to go and declassify the Phala Phala report. We can make that decision here as a committee to have that done if it's going to serve the purpose of it. So it was just about clarification before the nation is misled by the GNU. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Malema.
No, on 2 points, Chair. It will be disingenuous and anti-democratic principles not to make reference to an honorable member who made a point that you think it is differently put and therefore more clarity is sought. So there is nothing wrong with what Honorable Sangoni does. In the principles of debates, the best option for your name not to be called again is to keep quiet. If you are sensitive like that, keep quiet. But if you are going to open your mouth, you must know a reference is going to be made to that opened mouth, especially if it gets opened and say a lot of nothing. So there is nothing wrong with points of engagements and done in a very respectful way, where Honorable Sangon waited for a turn. She could have come in even at that time. She decided, no, I'm not going to come in at that time. I'll wait for my turn. So what is that? That is, you must not be scared of the highest stage of engagement. And that is Parliament. That's where we are now. And then the second point is, in terms of 3.5 of our terms of reference and 3.6, actually I must read them. Establish whether any wrongdoing, corruption, or breach of conduct have occurred within SAPS or any other relevant institution as outlined in the revelation. Assess the adequacy of internal mechanism for dealing with corruption, misconduct, and poor management within the SAPS, within the Ministry of, so if there is corruption that is being done at IPID, and amongst other things, the corruption of sealing Phala Phala, we are well within our rights to raise it here. And the minister can answer for himself. So Honorable Skosana is not outside the terms of reference of this ad hoc committee, and therefore there is nothing wrong with what he said about Phala Phala. We think and we hold a view, some of us, that Phala Phala at IPID was wrongly classified, because we find no justification why Phala Phala is classified. Police who were investigating Phala Phala ended up being investigated by IPID because someone reported them at IPID that these police were favoring the president. And before all of them were equal. Therefore, we want IPID to investigate the conduct of these police who are protecting the president. Whether you like it or not, Phala Phala is the president. It's Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa. It's a synonym for Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa. So it doesn't matter how people want to put it. So we are well within our right, Chair, and that right must be protected, and society must not be misled that people who speak about Phala Phala here, they are outside the terms of reference. And the good thing with terms of reference, the constitution or the law, is very important that every time when you speak about it, make reference to it, because you might think you know it, only to find that you don't know it. It's like Bible. A lot of you think you know Bible and you end up saying wrong things because you had those pastors who are feeding people petrol, saying the same things, and you come here and repeat those things without having read the Bible. Thanks.
Honorable Chief Whip. No,
thanks, Chair.
I'm aware the clock has stopped.
Yeah.
Honorable Sangoni must not be worried.
No, thanks, Chair. I think the earlier intervention made by Honorable Malema is quite correct. Throughout our sessions, I mean, right from the inception, we have made references, and I will when I ask questions to the minister later on. We have been making references to questions that were posed by either the senior counsel or any one of our members. So that practice is correct, and I don't think that we should change it. Where I think, on the second intervention, where I think we probably running a risk that colleagues did not understand the context within which Honorable Sangoni was raising the issue. Over a period of time, on many occasions in this platform, the insinuation has been made that the classification of the Phala Phala report was at the instance or at the behest of the minister. References have been made, if you go to our records in this ad hoc committee, that the minister somehow had a hand on that issue. As a consequence of which, in one of our hearings, one of the witnesses was asked a direct question, I can't remember which of the generals, who has the authority to classify the report? And the answer was that the only person who can classify the report is the primary author of the report. Now, when Honorable Sangoni is raising the question, of course, she may have jokingly then made references, which is what I suppose has also made the MKP not to be comfortable. She may have been very, very casual in terms of how she refers to Honorable Skosana. But the fundamental issue is that nobody is saying a discussion on the Phala Phala question, in whatever way it arises in this meeting, is a violation of our terms of references. But we would like you to appreciate the context within which she posed the question to the minister, because that has got to do with our history as opposed to what has actually happened today. I thought it's important, Chair, to clarify that, because I don't think there's a fundamental difference between what Honorable Malema is saying and his understanding with what Honorable Sangoni was saying. The question is the context within which she raises the question, given our history with this matter. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Honorable Skosana.
Ngithokoze Mgcini Sihlalo. It is unfortunate that, in fact, let me put it this way, it's not unfortunate. It was obvious. I serve in the Police Portfolio Committee. I'm not parachuted. For the last, since I came into Parliament, I understand much better than what Honorable Member Sangone was trying to educate me. There's nothing he can educate me about. iPad, IDEC, and whatever institution which we deals with. You know? Now, the issue, no, I'm not going to play with semantics here. I can do that if I want to be naughty. But I was naughty during those years when I was young. Now, the minister is not a zombie unless they want to turn him into a zombie. The minister answered me on the day. He answered me. She doesn't need he doesn't need an advocate or an SC here. Now, if somebody wants to attack me indirectly, I'm straight. Straight, I'm not, I don't fear anything in my life. Now, let's not do that. The decorum which my colleague was talking about, we want to maintain that. Now, if the honorable member is uncomfortable, I don't belong to the factions of the ANC. I don't belong to any factions. I know it's a very sensitive matter for the minister. And I feel pity for Honorable Sangweni, because we're still going to ask the minister here. And other members who are coming, employees of the ANC. And we are not here playing party politics. Let him present her own story here. Ask her own question. I'm not going to interfere. Even if he says iPad or iPad belongs to a Department of Justice, is fine. But I know, because I serve in that committee, I didn't remove anyone to come in here.
No, it's fine.
No one was removed. I'm here. I'm serving in that portfolio. I know the history. I know everything. I didn't come here to defend anybody or anyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honorable Scosan. Honorable Nomvalo, you will be the last.
Yeah, no, Chair, I just wanted to make this point that we still maintain our position. And we are saying this to seek your guidance. We're not inviting opinions and sentiments about how sensitive we are and so on. Here we seek your guidance as the chairperson of this meeting to say, don't allow a situation where some members choose to be sarcastic and tell us that they are educating us, as if they qualify to educate us. They don't qualify to educate us. It's us who qualify to educate them, not the other way around. So, Chair, we are seeking for your guidance. We're not seeking for anyone's guidance except yours as a chairperson of this meeting. We can't allow the name of the MK party to be rubbished here. If people have got a problem with the MK party, they must raise that elsewhere. It's not us who said people must lose elections. It's not the MK, it's not us who said people must get 1% in KZN and be voted only by their girlfriends, their candidates, and not receive any votes from anyone. So they must not come and express their anger here in the ad hoc committee, because we can do that as well. There is no mouth here which speaks a lot of nothing. If there's anything that does a lot of nothing, is a nose that can't even control mafinyila. Not a mouth that speaks a lot of nothing. Everything that we have spoken here as the MK party is in line with the terms of reference. It's in line with the terms of reference. Chair, if anything, we will never be bullied here. If people have been thriving through bullying, they are not going to bully us. We're not going to allow that. We're talking to you, we have no interest of talking to anyone about the guidance that we request from you and the protection that we request from you. So can we be protected, Chair? Because we will be tempted to respond.
Thank you so
For as long as they provoke us, we will respond.
Thank you so
Fearlessly so.
Honorable members, let me do this. Let me tell you,
No,
because
Chair.
I will give you a chance to speak. Let me
No,
say,
on a point of order, I just want to make one point very clear.
point of order. On
Yeah, you see, the problem is when you deal with anti-intellectuals,
No, but he is out of order. I'm
That
also
suffer
raising a
from
point of
rural
order, Chair.
arealism.
I'm raising a point of order.
I'm
These are
ruling.
small-
On a point
these are
of order,
small boys
Chairperson,
that
on a
have
point of
engaged-
order.
have engaged their
On a point
father
of order, Chair.
long before
Chair,
they
on a
arrived
point
here.
of order. On a point of order,
When they were
Chairperson.
still looking after
On a point
cows
of order, Chairperson.
in the villages
He
of
continues to
Mzimkhulu.
say nothing. He
I was
says a
dealing
lot
with
of
their
nothing.
father here.
He can't even
Yeah.
control Mafinyila.
They can't do anything.
He can't
Small
even
boys.
control Mafinyila.
Control
That's
your-
the only thing.
control your weight.
We're going to speak, Chair, for as long as
Control
it
your
takes.
weight. At
We're
least
not going
control
to
your
be
weight.
bullied by Malema
And
here.
ri- and buy the
We're not
right
going
size
to be
of
bullied
clothes.
by you. We're not your boys. We're not your fans here,
control your
Malema.
weight and
We
buy
are
the
not
right
your
size of
fans
clothes.
here.
Okay.
You think what these boys were carrying bags for you?
Okay.
That
We're
fed
not
is-
your fans
That
here.
fed is
We
going to
are
kill
not
you
your
in your
fans. We
sleep.
are going to confront you.
Honorable
We will
Mahalo.
confront you.
Honorable
We will
Mahalo.
confront you. We will confront you.
Honorable
We are not your
Malema,
fans here.
Honorable Nomvalo.
We're not your fans here.
Honorable members,
We're going to confront him.
May you please listen to me, honorable
We're going to
members.
confront him. We're not his fans.
I
We're not
request,
these boys who are carrying bags for him.
honorable members, I request.
Control your fans.
We are not going to
Control
bully us.
you.
Control
We are
your
not
weight.
going
I
to bully
request that
us,
you
Malema.
listen-
We're not
you
going to be
listen to
bullied
me.
by you. We'll never be bullied by you.
Honorable Nomvalo, you are the last person whose microphone is still on. You know, when I was at teaching, the session after lunch, we used to call it the graveyard session. And the experience now is the opposite of what I went through in my other life. This really cannot be the graveyard session. Let's do like this, honorable members. Number one, I want to tell you what belongs here and what does not belong here. Number one is that there is a statement which was made here that by the MKP. And the ruling that I make is that, yes, it is correct that honorable members can make reference to any statement that was made by a member during the proceedings. I don't think that Honorable Sangoni was wrong to have mentioned the name of Honorable Skosana, to say Honorable Skosana has asked a question about the classification of information by IPIT, answers which the minister a question to which the minister has responded. Number two, it is true that if honorable members want to probe or inquire about alleged corruption at Palapala, if there has been, they will not be wrong in terms of the scope of, the terms of reference that we have adopted. Those are the two issues that belong here to this meeting. Yesterday, I spoke to Honorable Skosana and said to him that once the referee blows a whistle, it means the referee has seen a misconduct that is not allowed in the pitch. And once the player who has been fouled reacts or remonstrates with the referee, that player also acts in common purpose. So I may not want to be drawn into how you conduct yourselves, but I want to remind you this. All along, I have been emphasizing this point that when we are here, we are in service of the people of South Africa. And I want to make this appeal once again to all of you, that let us not make the people of South Africa to know our parts, which we are not. The way they know us, let it always be how they know us, and not introduce to them the other sides which they have never known about us. Because that is how we keep the decorum of this parliament, and that is how we also keep our individual personalities intact. I mean, it's very, very unfortunate, Honorable Malema and Honorable Nomvalo, that it had to come to the point that it did, and for sure, I think that you should also be regretting that there could have been a way to deal with the matters that you strongly feel about than to have dealt it the way you did. But look, you can't be crucified for that. You are human beings. Sometimes you may get very emotional, and at the end of the day, you learn from such moments in life. You are leaders coming from political parties recognized in this country. Mogolo o pelopedi. When you are a leader, you must always have two hearts. When the other heart is saturated, the other heart is it must become a second venue. Okay, the second heart must be able to help the other heart to restore your calm. So I hope that as leaders, you regret the moment that we are coming out of, and because I can't prescribe, I can just say we may not experience this kind of behavior again. And let me assure you, sitting here as the chairperson, I respect you so much. And I love you so much. You must not doubt it. I love you, Honorable Nomvalo. I love you, Honorable Malema. I appreciate you so much. And so, you know, sometimes I feel very bad about it. But look, we have to move forward and serve the people of this country. Honorable Sangwen, we will add 15 minutes more to your time. Yes, yeah, so.
Thank you very much.
So what it means is mutatis mutandis. So it will be you and the chief whip. It will no longer be 4 o'clock, it will be 4:15. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you so much also for your guidance in this matter. I'm sorry, Honorable Skosana, if you took offense, but I see now at least Honorable Manyi has joined us, so you are reinforcing. Thank you, Chair. It's a joke, okay. Chair, let me go to the questions, and thank you very much. Minister, I just want to start on the issue of what brings us here, and apologies to you, Minister, as well, that you had to sit through that. Obviously, at the core of the issues is around that 31st of December directive. Now, the Minister obviously appreciates that any administrative action has to be lawful and rational. I hold a view which coincidentally coincides with yours around the action. I want you to take us through that. I may hold a different view on rationality, but on lawfulness. So this year, my understanding is that the national policing policy was adopted in May of 2025. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So would it be your testimony, Minister, that you felt that the PKTT in its operations did not align with the policy or any other policy directive? And if so, briefly, Minister, because I know you've spoken to this, can you just elaborate how you were of the view that it's not aligned to policy?
Well, it is more non-alignment with PFMA than any other law, in the sense that more and more I felt that when all the information was before me, I felt that we may have made an error allowing the National Political Killing Stars team to operate without extensions that had been done as a procedure or process before. And then it became one of the factors. And then the other factors that I've been alluding to here added as well.
So it's on the basis of that it was then a policy directive.
Exactly. It exactly arose in that context that I could do it.
Minister, you've been a minister since, if I'm not mistaken, July or August of last year. Were these the first directives that you gave to the National Commissioner?
Not necessarily, but in that form, yes.
What would have been the nature of either other directives or any other directives you would be aware of that a Minister of Police would have given to the National Commissioner would be in the space that you were directing on?
The other directives that arose in the context of discussions after we got appointed under the broad umbrella of orientation, which I said got elevated to discussions, got elevated to also decisions that were taken along the lines. I would make one example, that of removing from the structure the unit called Police Inspectorate. It was during that discussion, those discussions on the organizational structure, that the matter arose. And we said, no, after we asked questions and all of that, and we said, no, go and review this with a view to removing it from the organizational structure. In my view, that was a directive, but it arose in that context. This one arose in a different context, as I have outlined before.
So, Minister, that directive then, which
Chair,
for me...
apologies, Honorable Sangwan. I think the voice of the minister is too romantic this time. Sometimes we struggle to hear him. If he can come closer to the mic. It's too romantic. It's that romance that you have been preaching here in the House, Chair. Thank you.
The chair started it. So Minister,
No. What I said was plutonic.
That directive, Minister, sounds to me very much like this directive. So you are speaking to issues of a structure being removed, the police inspectorate. You did not get as much backlash as you did on this one. Is that correct?
I didn't, and that's correct.
Okay. No, thank you, Minister. I want to move on then to, okay, I want to go to the IMC, but before I go to the IMC, you indicated in your testimony that you received a handover report from Minister Ele. I just want to find out, did that handover report from Minister Ele say anything on the PKTT?
Not as I read it. What was there, though, was a reference to committees in which the minister in that term, the last term, or the term before, was serving. Any other leadership position that the minister had been playing, that is what was reflected, not necessarily the National Political Killing Stars team per se in any form.
Did he maybe give any reason at any point why he did not shut down the unit himself? I mean, it was a 2019 implementation plan. Did Minister Ele at any point, whether it was during the orientation or any point, indicate why he did not shut down that unit?
Not really. We didn't delve into that matter.
Okay. Now, Minister, this is where I disagree with you, and it's on the IMC. The handover report that Minister Ele would have handed over to you, if he used a standard template of handover reports, he should have in that handover report indicated which IMCs he was serving in as Minister of Police. Was this particular IMC there?
Yes, it was there.
Okay. So you had said, and I had been tempted to agree with you, that an IMC ends at the end of a term. But when I tried to look at this, I was informed that IMCs are established in two ways, one by presidential minute or two by cabinet decision. And there's always a process to disestablish an IMC, which is either it going to report to cabinet or memos being signed. Now, why would you then take it that at the end of the sixth administration, this particular IMC that had been handed over to you had been disestablished?
It's because cabinet at some point did sit and there were announcements of a new committees, IMCs and all of that, and this one was not mentioned.
Okay, then I think that may be new evidence, Minister, because what we have been deliberating on is, does it exist from sixth administration to seventh administration? But if you are saying that then cabinet agreed on the IMCs for this term, we would really like to see that, because I think it has an implication on your testimony. Now, you then say, Minister, that the reason you disbanded the PKTT was because it had been established by the IMC. You say that in your testimony, I'm not sure which page. Then in page 235 of the bundle, which is an information note written by General Khumalo, Lieutenant General Khumalo, requesting funding. He says the PKTT was established by the IMC. Page 247, which is a report to the minister written by General Masemula. In the fourth paragraph, he again confirms the establishment of the PKTT by the IMC. So there's no dispute, I think, there in terms of the PKTT being established by the IMC. You then say, when you took a decision to de-establish the PKTT, was because it has been established by the IMC. Why did you not, and I think you've been asked this question, I'm just not getting it. Why did you not then consult the other ministers who would be affected by your decision to disband? Because you say it was an IMC thing. Yes, the IMC doesn't exist, but why didn't you tell your colleagues who had been part of establishing it?
I'm sure it is the manner in which the decision was arrived at. We said with the deputy ministers, I think it was on the 21st of November 2024, to look at a number of issues that were picked up since appointment. In the main, those were complaints and so on of a human rights nature and others about intelligence, subs, and some practices, dismissals and all of that. But we were getting allegations as well from different people. And then we said, what do we do with these allegations? In fact, we started by saying, what have you been receiving? Deputy Minister 1, Deputy Minister 2, and then I also shared some of the things that I had been receiving. And the resolution was saying, go and engage the National Commissioner around these matters, yourself, Minister. So we agreed, but I didn't do that. I think it was 21 or 26, thereby. Because we had not discussed the details of the nature in which the form of that engagement, the extent, and all of those things. So I then grappled with that particular question. Now, it took some time, and I wasn't anticipating that there would be an ad hoc committee or a commission. I was just grappling on my own to say, how do I meaningfully engage the National Commissioner, not just engage for the sake of engaging, engage for the sake of taking meaningful decisions that will take us further and out of what we were discussing, what we seemingly were in. Now, it went on and on because we were busy and with other things, and I wasn't that quick in taking that decision. It was only after I settled at break around the 29th and so on. Then I went home to sit, knowing I'm not getting up to some business, and then the other day, and then things started sinking properly and shaping up properly. And then on the 31st I wrote. Now, I may have been concentrating on what I needed to do as a minister appointed. And then that issue of consulting other ministers, even though there was no IMC, didn't arise. But I did check, though, I must confirm, with the special advisor to say, if you read this letter, because I consulted him after, and mainly on what I'd written, lawfulness of this constitution, and we agreed that it was all within the powers of the minister as per constitution and legislation, and then I went ahead.
Okay, Minister, now you say that you, as Minister of Police who was chair of the IMC, you felt that it was within your rights to do this. But how do you say that as chair of an IMC that you yourself believe didn't exist, you could then disband? Where did you then draw the authority to disband from? Because you, in your statement, you say it was established by the IMC could disband it. You then didn't consult the IMC, but then as chair of the structure that you say didn't exist, where did you then derive that authority from?
This was a political intervention. It was not established through legislation. The minister has powers like 207, 2, and so on and so on. Now, when the National Political Killings Task Team was established, it was not through that power, but it was through a political intervention, starting from the president, then the IMC, political intervention, not legislation, the minister sitting and then saying, through powers vested on me, I must establish, I'm hereby establishing, as it had happened before, because there was another task team that had been established in 2016 and another that had been established in 2014. This one was not established that way. It was political intervention from president to IMC, of which the minister was one. So I then relied on that particular sequence or that particular mode or to do that, but leaning on the powers of the member of the executive. In other words, saying this was political intervention, this is political intervention, but now because I'm minister, I'm using that framework as minister to do what I did.
No, thanks, Chair, thanks. And I want to make a follow-up, Minister, on the question and the answer you provided. Let me give you the reasons why that question is fundamental. We have come to understand that the IMC was established by the President, and it was the IMC that established the PKTT or the NKPKTT. Now, the reason Honorable Sangweni is asking this question, Minister, is because our own deductions is that your existence as the chair of the Interministerial Committee equally cease to exist when the committee is not re-established? And therefore, where would you draw the authority to disband the entire team as opposed to withdrawing the police who are under your executive authority as a Minister of Police? Because if you had said, no, I was not the chair of the IMC because it didn't exist, but as part of my own job to restructure the department of the South African Police Service or the South African Police Department, I then decided to withdraw the police. If the withdrawal of the police consequently led to the demise of the PKTT, that would be the consequences evolving from your own action. But in this context, you would have exercised your action in the context of the authority you enjoy as a Minister of Police, as opposed to a chair of an IMC that in your own admission did not exist. So I hope you are able to understand where we are coming from and the difficulty we see with the way in which, the way in which you exercise your own logic in deciding for the entire committee, while you as the then chair of that committee had ceased to exist when it was not re-established by the cabinet.
I understand. There is the IMC, then the IMC doesn't get continued with or re-established for the 7th administration. I no longer am chair of that. I'm now Minister of Police. Now, I then say, I would want to disestablish this, or I have to disestablish this. And what do I do in this situation? Because of there are this and this and this and this reason. And then we look at the Constitution on what the minister, no longer as chair, we look at and we see there's something called a directive using what now is what was a political intervention now facing me as a member alone. And then I say, okay, because there is this power to do a directive whose content is not necessarily determined, to say is only directive for this, on this and this and this. I then used that particular power as a directive, to direct, to give a directive.
Thanks. Minister, with hindsight,
Let me check. Honorable Chief Whip, are you okay? Are you satisfied?
Just a minor follow-up. I understand.
Let's do this. It will just hold Honorable Sangweni. The clock has stopped.
Okay,
It will
all
be
right.
the Chief Whip, Honorable Malema, and Honorable Ngola. Honorable Minister, the microphone is on your right cheek. If you please make sure that it faces straight to your mouth.
No, thanks, Chair. No, I won't be long. I wanted to check, Minister, just one question only, and you will decide whether you answer it as a yes or no. In your own understanding, can a minister issue a directive that cuts across or beyond the department that a minister leads in terms of its impact?
Now, the National Political Killings Task Team was, for all practical purposes, a structure of police, in essence. But then, because of the needs for interdisciplinary and all of that approach, you then draw other relevant to then assist at official level, officials level now, that's what we're remaining with, who are playing specific roles there. Now, in my view, because this is housed in South African Police Service, I could do that. The resources that were being used there were not basically from SAPS. There may have been other resources used by, for instance, NPA and by others in their roles as they do there, but not as is the case or would be the case in SAPS, because as SAPS, you will have to get members from all over. As SAPS, you would hire accommodation, you would provide cars, you provide all of those things. So it was different from SAPS. And it did have an impact in terms of how you use resources and so on, far, far more than those other departments would have been consulted once you have taken a decision to say, look, we have come across this and deriving from history and all of that. And so my answer to your question is yes, in this instance.